Good afternoon, everyone. It's January 18th, 2020. I'm Eric. This article here may help shed some light as to why Donald Trump would be aiding Bayer/Monsanto in their endeavor to avoid being held liable for causing people's cancer. Specifically non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This is from Sean Williams, and the website is the Motley Fool. I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this, which I should have done that before I started, but you know how it is. Alright. So, Mr. Trump, your beloved leader, and we're going to start with Trump and work our way through a few of these tabs. I'm not going to read the entire articles to you. However, I will be bringing some of these things to your attention. Alright, we're going to go ahead and skip the first part of it, because they claim that Trump is a self-made man. Okay? Which is not true. He is not a self-made man. A self-made man starts with nothing and builds their way up. Mr. Trump, on the other hand, got money from his father, a position in his company, and lots and lots of loans from Jewish bankers. He owes more money than he has. A lot more. So anybody who claims that Donald Trump is a genius of a businessman don't know shit about business. In order for your business to be successful, you must have more profit than liability. And this is not the case with Donald Trump's endeavors. So, number one position here, or number one on the list, is Monsanto. No wonder he wants to save them from litigation. No wonder. Maybe the biggest surprise is that Trump holds between $15,001 and $50,000 worth of Monsanto stock in one of his two wealth management accounts with Deutsche Bank, according to a Nielsen poll conducted in 2014 of 60 high-profile companies. Monsanto's ranked as the third most hated, behind only BP, which is the company responsible for the worst oil spill in history, and Bank of America, one of the main faces of the mortgage meltdown. Consumers despise Monsanto for using its genetic prowess to modify and protect crops to improve yield. This might involve the use of pesticides. Not might, it does. And by the way, these genetically modified crops do not improve yields. It's quite the contrary. So, it's not might involve the use of pesticides, it does involve. Or the literal genetic modification of seeds to improve yield. Once again, this is a lie. It does not improve yield. Does not. The concern among some of the public is that genetically modified organisms may be contributing to a number of adverse health consequences. Monsanto's GMOs and its Roundup herbicide have, in certain studies per naturalsociety.com, been linked to infertility and birth defects. Oh, let's not forget about that Russian study that showed extreme tumor growth. Extreme. Adding icing on the cake, Monsanto has also lobbied hard to keep labels off of products. Where's my cursor? Off of products that are genetically modified. So it's no wonder that Donald Trump is trying to protect Monsanto, Bayer, from civil litigation. This dude is filled to the brim with conflict of interest. And if you don't think this is the case, then you're a moron. Straight up. Alright, so that's the only thing I wanted to show you from this article is that. Remember yesterday, I covered Trump saving Bayer / Monsanto, or trying to. Okay, so that one's over with. Okay. Now, Saudi government almost certainly helps its citizens escape prosecution in U.S. for serious crimes. And who does Donald Trump pimp our troops out to? Saudi Arabia, of course. He pimps them out like they're a bunch of hoes. And I guess they must be a bunch of hoes if they're going to tolerate being pimped out to one of the most repressive governments out there. A government, a nation, linked to the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Right? But some reason, your patriotic president continues to do business with a known terrorist government. And all of you who vote for these fuckers are responsible. I say vote for these fuckers because it's not only Donald Trump, it's the congressmen, it's the senators, it's the last president, it's every president we've had, with maybe a couple of exceptions. Oh, damn it. Fucking scroll. Okay. The FBI believes the Saudi Arabian government almost certainly helps its citizens flee the country after they are accused of serious crimes, undermining the U.S. judicial process, according to a newly declassified document obtained by Oregon Live. Okay. So they aid their citizens from prosecution in the United States. It sounds a lot like Israel. Remember after 9/11 how the only people that were able to leave the country were the royalty from Saudi Arabia and some of those dancing Israelis after they'd been questioned. But still, Donald Trump has his tongue all in the ass of these two nations, their leaders. All in their ass. And people are actually going to vote for him again. Now, I'm not saying that there's any better candidate. I'm saying there is no good candidate whatsoever. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying all of these people are rife with fucking conflict of interest. It's either their best interest or the nation's best interest, and guess who they're going to pick? It's a matter of logic. There's that one. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, this one comes from Paul Craig Roberts, former assistant treasury, something like that. Posted on Zero Hedge, by the way. And I won't read the entire article, but I will cover the gist. Many decades ago, there was an issue of Mad Comics, or Mad Magazine, that portrayed a future time when everything was done by robots and humans had no function. One day the system failed, as it has been eons since humans had to do anything. No one knew how to fix the system. It was Mad's version of Armageddon. And he believes that this is exactly where the digital revolution is taking us. You know, do you have any idea how much this thing annoys me? Any idea? And not just my own. Other people's too. I mean, how many times a day do you have to wait through a traffic light multiple times because some inconsiderate prick or cunt is sitting on their phone texting or watching a video or some other shit? But I digress. There was a time when appliances and cars responded to us, but now we respond to them. When I was a child, our cars, appliances, and so on, did not go beep or send a notification to remind you of the things you were supposed to be doing. Now, the old microwave would gently beep 3 times and stop. The new one beeps in the most insistent way. Open the door, you dumb human, right this second, immediately, and it keeps on insisting until it's obeyed. The fridge refuses to let him leave it open for cleaning. The oven insists that it gets open immediately, despite my habit of cutting the time short and leaving whatever is to cook a while longer in the hot oven. And here's an explanation of how our electric meter spy on us and pass on the information to interested parties. Again, we are no more or no less or no more dystopian than China. We are told that the Internet of Things is supposed to be our future. Everything is connected. Everything is a data source. The Internet of Things will be a living digital organism where you can be found any time of the day, watched, identified, and treated like a voluntary member of this new massive database in the sky. The Internet of Things will produce more data about you than has ever been collected, and the more data they have on you, the more they can take your stuff from you, the more they can do to you. What exactly will humans be good for? I think we have the answer to that. Sitting around, getting high, getting fat, and dying. Indulging ourselves in all manner of perversions, all manner of vices. And again, I'm not an anti-drug person. But some things are more important than your flesh, your feelings, your senses. We are becoming virtual slaves to technology. We are already slaves to our governments. We are already slaves to the Federal Reserve. We are already slaves to our shitty jobs. At what point are we going to have enough enslavement? At what point are we going to have enough of these technocratic control freaks? I would say we're not. We're not going to have enough of it. We love our enslavement. Insubordinate humans delight in the gadgets that are turning themselves into unfree people. That's very, very precise. Anyway, we can move on now. I thought I'd share that one with you. Again, that's from Paul Craig Roberts. Living on Borrowed Time. This one comes from M.N. Gordon via economicprism.com. Practically the entirety of Congress now believes that the ability to pay should not limit the ability to promise people whatever they want. Yep. Congress may be good at taxing, and goddamn are they good at it. They are bleeding us dry. They are turning us into jerky. Congress, they're even better at spending. According to the Treasury Department, the annual budget deficit, the shortfall between tax receipts and spending for the 2019 calendar year topped 1.2 trillion. But that's nothing. It's nothing. If you recall, starting in mid-October, the Fed began conjuring money out of thin air at a rate of $60 billion a month for the sole purpose of buying treasuries. Not only did they do this, but they lent big corporations money so they can buy their own stocks, inflating these stock prices. Everything about our economy, the world economy, is artificial. Everything. Inverted pyramid. New U.S. Census Bureau figure shows that the U.S. population is growing at an annual rate of 0.48%. If it wasn't for immigrants, which are entering the U.S. at a reduced rate, the U.S. population would be in decline. Business Insider offered several anecdotes. The census data capped 10 years of sluggish U.S. population growth. The 2010s may enter the record books as the slowest decade in population growth since the first census in 1790. And low fertility rates and an increase in deaths are projected to continue into the 2020s. Think that Deagle.com forecast. I will be doing an update video on that probably later today. If not today, tomorrow morning. The prospect of demographic stagnation is playing a critical role in projections of slower U.S. economic growth over the next decade, given smaller increases in the number of working age Americans and as baby movers continue renting or retiring. Going forward, a ballooning number of retirees would rely on a shrinking number of workers to power the economy, not to mention Social Security. These things are going to collapse, and it's going to be very, very dramatic when it does. As the economy ages and growth stalls, the legacy costs become insurmountable. In effect, the age demographic transitions from a well-functioning pyramid with a large base of workers supporting it, supporting a small tip of retirees, to a top-heavy inverted pyramid. And we are living on borrowed time. We're living on borrowed time and borrowed money. There is no turning back. There is no graceful way out. There's no backing away from QE or repo market madness or financial and social collapse. We can continue on to the next one. And by the way, there's been announcements concerning more retail closures and many, many more layoffs. So, just keep that in mind. Again, this was Living on Borrowed Time over at Zero Hedge, authored by M.N. Gordon. All right. To Virginia now. Virginia gun sales soar as Dems consider draconian assault weapons ban. The very fact that these gun sales soared shows that the people of Virginia have zero intention on obeying any such gun ban. The fact that these gun sales soared or are soaring still shows that many of these people are going to be willing to fight. This one is from Tyler Durden. Ever since Virginia's Democrats retook the state assembly and Senate in November, Democratic Governor Ralph Blackface Northam and the legislature have been gearing up to pass a draconian gun control bill. Unsurprisingly, many Virginians feel strongly about preserving their Second Amendment rights, and the state has traditionally enforced a more permissive stance toward firearm ownership. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think these people have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on these firearms just to hand them over to these fucking pigs? I don't think so. I think a lot of Americans are finally fed up. I think a lot of Americans are finally ready for a fight. Unfortunately, some of these same Americans support Donald Trump, a man who is a gun grabber himself. Don't forget what he said. Take the guns first and due process later. Don't forget that. Because a lot of you Virginians out there who are willing to fight for your gun rights are sleeping with the enemy. You are supporting your enemy. Anybody who wants to steal from you your rights, any of them, your money, your ability to self-defense, cannot be seen any other way than as enemies. Anyway, thought I would talk to you guys about it, and I hope all of you have a great day. Please remember, like, share, subscribe, and if my content's worthy, I have the PayPal link below. Kill the state, live free.